Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Kaba Finance Limited hagasngi tho diang ka chitarik nailar arja arpusan kelas dang ka financial literacy ni gajing hikai punsngo tho hagaliang ka Pisa tingka kabala ai kerteng art sutra samvat hashilong kum shibenta gajing pendong gajing penshai habaro ka waikari banken tiu gajing punsngo tho halor ka Pisa tingka haganing sngi ladan lang kitna trikam ba pher begentop u Dr.Utpal de ubade uno hikai haga subject economics hanehu Upan Kaj Kumar Rasganya IPS Ubday USP Cyber Meghalaya Bat Kiwe Kibami Kmat Naga Meghalaya Rural Bank Livelihood Society East Khasi Hills Haba Ajinkran Nagani Gajinyalang U Dr. Utpal Kumar Ulabanjur Daga Boong Bagajingtip Ika Kampisa Tingka Kawan Daga Jingstang Ban Pule Bat Tho Bakantop Bandone Ka Bor Sngo Tho Bat Karukam Penyade Ulang bagajingtip ya kakam Pisa tingka kamut tang banang ban Kheiñ Pisa namarwat ki Longshuwa jungi kinang ban Kheiñ ke kebadan kam ke long Kumno ngi penyat ngi penlut bat Pynroi ya ke Pisa da ke jingsta ulang ru babun ki breu ke jela ki kamai lingba ka kamrep bat ka kamti maut po khendau bat ki jukan show ya ke Pisa haying ladakan show ya ke Pisa klam dadan ke jing penlut ka dor jongka ka hiar man kapor kumta ki breu ki di bantip Kumno ban mang bat Kumno ban penlut banla ban pendap hakalawi ke jongki ula bendrap Upan Kaj Kumar IPS pat habakran kan sngi ul batai halol gejinan kam ban bu shibun ke Pisa da ka baong bakibang kila ban pet benya ya ke jingdon Pisa jong ubriu hashwa ban airam yaki ula kran ru halor gejingmi ki kam thong bat kerpat de ki pat ba bakin long ki bahusyar habakibanan kam ban seo Pisa online da ka baong baka UPI ke de ke shlam penyat Pisa ka babiang tam ha ka perthei ka bapensuk ha garukom seo ne pha Pisa Hendai wat laka taru ula maham badeban pet bha namar dabakla yo adu e Pisa dagbakum siyo bakla.
We call somebody a literate in general educational system. The one who could replace his thumb impression by his writing skill. That he learned how to write at least his own name. No need to give the thumb impression. Later on, it is little improved. Then read and write. Along with that came the understanding. Not only that, only something just reading without knowing the meaning of it. It is not that. So a literate person means he is capable of thinking something. So financial literacy also is like that. It is not about that only just one knows how to count money, whether 20 rupees, 30 rupees or 10 rupees a coin or a bundle. That our forefathers also used to do, who never gone to school. I used to see one of my grannies. I have 5 10 rupees. I kept there below the roof of the house, that time thatch house, no? Inside they used to keep. That is the savings mode. When there is any crisis, one will take and give somebody. It's a mode of saving or something. They could count only. And literacy means only up to that level that you have seen in the rural areas earlier also, in earlier system. In Meghalaya also I heard many things like that people learn whatever source it is from, like maybe your agriculture, maybe mining. People used to keep money in the bag, gunny bag you can say. So whenever there is any need for marketing, big occasion, purchase of land, house, anything. So by gunny bag, taking in the vehicle and dropping the money, count how many bundles and give. So here financial literacy is not all about like that, counting like this or how to use in general that we used to do in the earlier system. Because if you keep money that is in currency form at your home, so it will remain as it is. You keep 100 rupee, whether in your thatch house that in the corner you hide it, or keep in a small pitcher. That also was something in old system 50 years, 100 years back you had seen, or your yard. So it is not about that because it depletes the value in general. Why depletes the value? Because your number of notes not increasing, but its utility is declining. The same 100 rupee note what you can buy today with this after 2 years, you cannot buy the same thing. Maybe you will get less amount of your requirement by using the same money. That means its value terms, it is declining. So that's why the literacy. Literacy means, financial literacy means that it is a cognitive understanding, we say, that who understands the value and how to utilize the same resource. Instead of keeping, why we save, for example, that is an understanding of financial components and the skills, like understanding skills in literature, as I said, like budgeting, investing, borrowing, taxation, and personal financial management. Now all this, what does it mean actually? All are encompassing that same thing what I was talking about earlier, that since the value of money, if you keep it ideal, that today I don't want to use, this is my excess, I will keep in the gunny bag, I will keep there. Sometimes we also do. This is called the precautionary thing. Suddenly, all on a sudden, somebody fell sick, you have to buy some medicine, so you keep it. But how much? All of your earning 5 lakh, 10 lakh, if you keep like this, you may need maybe a fraction of it, and that depends on the probability, chance. Always, that out of 100, all 99 people cannot be so sick that they will be in nursing home and all money will be required. It's a chance factor. So what percentage? So there is a proportion, probability is there. So you can save a part of it, in cash you can keep, and partly you can invest in different portfolios. So those things. So budgeting is one, that those who can do properly all these things, we call the person is a financially literate. How better one can do? Why? Now if we save money in whatever form, whether keep in the bank, so it will be multiplied. Some interest at least you will get. Though nowadays general interest is very less, we call the negative interest. Why we call? Because 2, 3 or 4% interest, and over that also some portion tax will be automatically deducted from your account. So but basically it does not counter the inflation. If 6, 7 or 8% inflation, you are getting 3% interest. So same 100 rupee next year is giving you 103 rupees, whereas the same 100 rupee, if you buy some material, it will be worth 106 rupees. So if you keep in the bank and next year want to buy the same thing, you cannot buy still. So interest is not, but still some amount it is compensating, not full. So it's one part. Use the same money to buy a land, if land appreciates more rate, at more rate, higher rate. So then it may be more than 10%. So your value will be increased. So proper budgeting you need. So before budgeting, one should know how to earn the money. Without knowing how to earn, and without earning, how to make the balance, that to which proportion will be used at present, which proportion will be used for the education of the children, which proportion will be invested like in the rural areas as people do, invest in the cattle, that it will give regular milk and others earning, or in future you can sell cattle, pig, many. So rural peoples in the context here trust is given, so I am talking of like this. Earn this much. If anything happens to me, means I die, how I will get the money? Who will go to give me the back money? You have to go to heaven. No. Your heirs, those who will be the survivor, they will get. And then you tell that because you are worried about the future of your children, your other family members, your wives, if it is a lady's case, your husband, your parents, or whatever. So, if you want to secure their life, so that you invest something, if any misfortune or anything happens, their life will be secured. Medical insurance is also, travel insurance is also. Just next month I am going to France for a conference. Before granting visa, they said that not only ticket, you have to have some insurance, because more day by day complications are coming. Some people are carrying some disease or pick up disease from other place. So who will take the responsibility? So travel come medical insurance, worth some amount, limit is there. So one has to have that. So here also, so insurance means one has to tell that, so what we call, why people do insurance here. That is also part of the financial literacy. Because if we assume that suddenly nowadays what happened, the middle class family, a severe disease happens, you put in the hospital and 16 lakh, 20 lakh, 50 lakh budget is coming for the expenses. So where from you can meet? So if you have insurance, some cover. And if they know in advance that insurance is there, then also a problem. Where 2 lakh expenditure for say, for example, then maybe 20 lakh also, they will make the bill. So that is also there, that he has insurance. So his family came as for treatment, make the bill. That is also there. So one has to be very prudent, you have to keep your eye open. As cautiously, you have to look from which sides how to earn the money. From expenditure, for saving also, one has to look into that matter. So savings is important there, whatever be that. Insurance is important. Now as I was telling, sorry, I was diverting the matter. The insurance, why we do? Because of the, in economics terminology, we call the bequest motive. Bequest means that we love our inherited people, our children and others. We love the society also. Society means that budget does not always mean that you are making proper budget, whatever you earn, that your own expenditure, your own savings, your own investment, but also your investment to the society. I know, but once stealing, so your thing to gone, whom you will catch. So I have to be careful first. So my money I have to keep secure, isn't? Then before blaming others, they will take all the pros and cons and cheating. This will be there all over the world, and that cheating also sometimes I justify because unemployment, how to survive. Maybe some people are doing. When people used to fight earlier, 1,000, 10,000 years back also, why they used to fight? To get resource from others, isn't? Mongolia, nothing used to happen, so they become fighter and looting the other areas. And they become rich, they survive. So survival instinct. So here looting also became a survival instinct. So we have to be careful to safeguard our own money. So he can elaborate more that aspect.
Loans, all these are very critical aspects of our financial literacy setup, our financial structure. So that we call under the category of financial inclusion. Then apart from that, we should also have understanding about how all of that works. What sir has explained, nothing is free. When you take loan, what all things are checked, your background, your credit score, all of these things, whether you are in job or not. So there are some fundamental principles of economy that we should understand as part of financial economy. I will not delve into much, but just to cover the basics, we all know inflation. With time, the value of money will go down. Whatever you are investing, that will give you returns. If the return is more than the inflation, then you are good. Otherwise, your money is getting lost. That is one fundamental principle. Then, if you want to earn money, as what sir said, nothing is free. You have to do something. If you are getting money from somewhere which is very easy, very cheap, that means something is wrong. So that is one flag. If you are not doing anything, just generating money like that from the air, except for banks, nothing, no one can generate money from air. So that is another principle. So that is a power given to all of the citizens. Today India is the largest, is at the frontier of the fintech sector. Our UPI is the best in the world. At the click of a button, we can transfer money to anybody. But with power comes responsibility, and if we don't exercise it with responsibility, we are going to see some damages, which I will talk about later. So technology, with mobile phone, you are having applications, you are having UPI, you are having insurance applications, you are having mutual fund investment applications. Similarly, like genuine applications, we have fraudulent applications. How to identify that I will talk about. So considering, I have gone through the data for the past 1 month of the complaints that we have received on our online portal, which is National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. The URL is cybercrime.gov.in. Invariably, almost 90% of the complaints are related to investment, whether it is application, whether it is by person, somebody calling you, it may be by phone, maybe on internet. I will give you one example. In the past few months we had come across 2-3 applications. I will not take the name. As and when we discover these kind of applications, we are releasing advisories, and on our social media platform we are naming those platforms that these are fake, please don't invest. There are 2-3 applications, DAI, then PSA Group, in the recent Look is another investment apps. How do they work? There is no any business model of this kind of application. If I can simplify it in one line, it is simply a multi-level marketing scheme. At some point of the time, the scheme bursts. And that is when people come and report to us. So for one of the apps that we had investigated, so one person, he was approached by someone through advertisement on Telegram. Somebody he knew, or maybe from the Facebook advertisement, he got added to a Telegram group which was named as Stock Market Investment Advice. Okay, for some time he was getting advice about the real stocks. After some days, he got one advice that okay, there is one application where if you invest, it will give you very good returns. He installed that application on his phone, his wife's phone. He invested, he got initially good returns, 10%, 20%. Then the person who were operating that application, they told, since you are earning money, it is a very good thing that you should tell about this thing to your friends and family. So then they said, we will tell you how to advertise, how to market it. They invited him to good hotels in Shillong, Guwahati. He used to do meetings there. Invited him, told them about how to go about. He was asked to create multiple WhatsApp groups to add his family members, and also he was told that whatever the other persons will invest, you will get a certain percentage as returns to you as well. So here you can see it's going into the multi-level marketing thing. He added lot of people into his group. The same thing what he was told, he told the other persons, okay, now you also ask other persons to invest, and like that within Meghalaya there are thousands of people who were in this network. Only after some time, people initially they were getting good returns, 10%. Some people who had invested 1,000 rupees, because when you are new to a app, we all are aware that there are certain kind of fraudulent apps. But if you are getting returns in real time, you are investing 1,000 rupees and you are getting 100 rupees within a month. Slowly you build trust in that application. So that same thing happened. It went on for few months. After few months, people invested a lot of money and they were not able to withdraw. At that time, they started contacting those customer care of the application. No response, nothing. Then they went to that person who introduced them to this application. He also said, I am also facing the same issue. When this thing became viral on their groups that they are not able to withdraw the money, the person who was the admin of the group or who was introducing them to the groups, he exited the groups and he left. So now with all these thousands of people, they have invested money, all the money gone, they don't have anyone to catch. Then all of them, they reported the complaints on National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. We had initiated the investigation and we got hold of that person who initially started this in Meghalaya. But again, it is not him that is a mastermind. We should understand that this kind of applications, and it is not just one application, they will create another application just by changing the name. So what is the factor or what is the telltale signs that we should understand here that this is a fake or a genuine investment application? You may be getting regular income, or just if it is not a multi-level marketing scam, you may be getting good returns, you are happy, you have installed their application, but what that application may be doing in the backend, just for reference purposes, nowadays mobiles are so powerful. They have GPUs, they have CPUs, very powerful, they have good technical specifications. Your CPU and GPU can be used for fraudulent purposes. From your devices, an attack can be initiated. Cryptocurrency can be mined from your CPU and GPUs. If not this, then your identities can be stolen. This has happened earlier. A lot of people, they have installed certain applications on some pretext or the other, maybe calculator or scanner like that. What it does is, it scans your mobile phones and it checks whether you have WhatsApp active, whether you have Telegram active, whether you have Signal active. If it finds that you don't have any of these applications, it will create an account on your behalf, and that control will be given remotely to the fraudster. And that person sitting in the remote will be able to send messages which will be visible that okay, you have sent, your number will be visible there, but you have no idea about that. And the fraudster will happily pay you money also. And whatever application you have downloaded, you will be happy it is working without ads, it is 100% free, I am getting cashbacks or I am getting income also, but there are other things which are going and which will cost you not just money, your reputation. If police comes at your door, you may be arrested, because all the technical evidence will point that it is your mobile phone, your IP address, your Aadhaar, your mobile number, everything will point to you, and you will have no option to save you. Even this kind of application, they can be hidden deep inside the Android application. It's very difficult even with forensic analysis to identify them. So when it comes to financial, especially the fintech literacy, we should understand. If we don't understand anything, better to avoid that. Better to consult those persons who know it better. Maybe the bank manager, the manager of your mutual funds who is handling, or any of your friends and families who is actually having knowledge. Only then you should invest money. I'm not painting a gloomy picture, but this is what I see every day, because of which all these incidences are coming in my mind. So it's very important that whatever we don't understand, not to go. Only when we understand, like what sir said, if we purchase Reliance shares, it may give you 3 times returns in a year, but only if you know how it is giving returns, why it is rising. Otherwise, if you simply invest even through genuine apps into genuine shares without understanding the economics behind it, you may invariably lose a lot of money. So this is from my side. After this, we can have questions if you have on any of the aspects that I have talked about. Multi-pronged strategy. We have our social media channels where we are constantly giving awareness, post as and when we get a new kind of modus operandi on our reporting portal, as and when people come and report to us in cybercrime police station, we keep on updating and issuing advisories for people who are on social media. Then your question regarding the ones who are in the rural areas not using mobile phones. For that, we have collaborated with a number of NGOs, 2-3 based in Shillong, some in Garo Hills as well. So in tie-up with them, we have workshops at the rural areas also. Some of the workshops have been happening in the past month in Shillong and in various other areas as well. So I can say our offline awareness sessions are much more than what we conduct online. So on an average, every week we are conducting 3 awareness sessions. So as I speak today, one of the awareness session is also going on. One of our officers, he is deputed for undertaking awareness sessions. So these offline sessions are much more effective, because just by giving advisories, as you said rightly, not everybody is having access to that, but we are trying to reach to the end, the common people through offline. And there is another aspect of our awareness sessions where all colleges and all schools, they are inviting us on regular basis on special occasions. We are tying up with them and we are deputing our resource persons. So we are covering all the age groups, the one who are in schools, the one who are on social media, and the rural areas through our partner NGOs. Work in progress. We can never claim that we are fully skilled, and we can never say that we don't have the skills. We do what we have to do, but again, there is always a scope for improvement. There is always a scope for addition of technology, addition of manpower. So that is there. But as of today, like as you asked the question, manpower, yes, it is a challenge. And this challenge is not just in Meghalaya, across the states, this is a challenge. Technologically, we are fully equipped, because for investigation, what all technology is required, it is there with us. What all authority is required to obtain the data, the legal processes are there in the place. All the nodals have been notified in the state of Meghalaya, and as and when information is required in the investigations, we are able to obtain them on time. So vis-a-vis investigation, we are fully equipped. That is which are reported of the similar manner. So I'll reiterate the step of reporting and the investigation in these kind of cases. So the first information which comes to us is generally through 1930, which is our helpline. It's a dedicated helpline for reporting cybercrime cases or for obtaining information as well on any of these cases. When a call comes to 1930, we direct them and we help them to register a complaint on National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. Why this portal is important? Because here the first time information is entered. Then it comes to us. The immediate step that we can take is we forward the details of these cases to I4C, from where it is forwarded to the banks, and the bank account where the money has been transferred is immediately blocked. So that is the immediate steps that happens in all the cases. Now how much money will be blocked, it depends on whether money is available in that bank account or it has moved to another bank account or it has been withdrawn in cash. So that is varying, but the action till now is happening on all the cases. Thereafter the complaint goes to the police stations, and from there they undertake the investigation at the police station level. So the recovery part is between the IO and the banks. So when we complete the investigation, the court gives the order for the amount which has been put on hold in a particular bank account, then it is transferred. So blocking we have done in a number of cases. In fact, this year itself we have blocked more than 3 crore rupees. But again, it's a part of the investigating procedure. So immediate steps which can be taken in all these cases are being taken from us. But the conclusion of all these cases, they happen in the court, which are still happening, and we are yet to see the results in that. A new kind of challenge, and when we are talking about financial literacy, we are talking at a much more fundamental and a lower level of complexity. AI is further much more complex. As of now, we can see AI is being used for fraud. 2-3 examples are already there in the news. Deepfakes are already out. People are morphing photos which looks like very real. A recent case was unearthed in Assam just few weeks back, you must be aware. So when we are undertaking awareness in schools, we cover all the aspects. But again, since it is a new technology, we never say that beware of. We encourage people to use AI. In fact, to our staff also we say, now that age is of AI, we cannot stay away from it. AI has certain useful cases, again it will have some negative use cases also. So awareness has to be done on the both sides of AI. So whenever we go to any schools, this is a very recurring question on AI, whether it is dangerous or what to do with AI. So my answer is always, it is a double-edged sword, and we should use AI. But again, it is being misused. So nowadays what has happened is, the first thing that we see, earlier we were able to trust our senses. Now we cannot trust our ears. Somebody can, using AI can morph our voice. We cannot trust our eyes. Somebody can morph photos, videos. So that has to be taken into account. Whatever we see on social media is not the truth. So that much of awareness should be there within the citizens that these are the perils of AI.
Query, obviously you have a genuine query, we will come back to you and we will talk to you, because there are certain parameters before disbursing the loans. It's not only that journalists are not getting the loans, there are certain queries. If you are employed and if you have certain documents of income proof, obviously you have the provision to get the loans. So we have certain parameters, we have to check the credit score and all other things. So we will come back to you, we will talk to you. If you have any certain case in your mind, we can resolve it.
No, excuse me.
From the category, if you have the income source, if you have good credit score, obviously we offer the loan to journalists as well.
The first thing,
Electronic store, to buy any product on Bajaj Finance EMI, we don't even ask that whether you are employed or not. Okay, So what we check, if you have a genuine bank account, if you have income, we don't ask that where are you employed. Accordingly, you can buy the product on EMI. So it's not that we ask on the profession and accordingly we disperse the loan. We disperse everyone who meets our criteria.